Hey guys, it's Cali. Today I'm going to show you how I made this really cool collage out of the contents of my junk drawer and a birthday card that I received. So if this looks like something that you'd like to do or you're intrigued to see how I did it, please stick around and I'll show you what I did. Okay, you guys, it's been a while since I've done one of these, so this is my kitchen junk drawer, and it's getting to the point of overflowing. So I thought it was time to do another junk drawer collage, and I am going to rummage through the contents of my junk drawer here and pick out an assortment of objects, and then I will meet you back here with the frame that we're going to be using and what I've decided to pick for our collage today. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay guys, I'm going to show you what supplies we're going to be using today. First of all, you're going to need some kind of a canvas. I'm actually using this frame that I got at the auction. I'll be taking the glass out of it and just using the actual frame and the backing behind it. I'm going to use a piece of artwork. You can use a photograph. You could use any graphic of your choice. This was a birthday card that was given to me by my dear friend and sister, Holly. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a few pieces of cardboard just for texture. I'm also going to be using, this is drywall tape, again for texture. Here's some pieces of screening. I also have some cheesecloth as well as some bandage and gauze squares. We'll be using some molding paste, and I'm also going to try, I also got this at the auction in a dollar box lot, some caulking. It's waterproof and paintable, and I'm going to try to put some of our embellishments down and just use this for texture as well. I'll be using my glue gun as well as some E6000. We're going to use some Americana acrylic paint in black. I have some DecoArt Media Misters in purple, black, magenta, blue, violet, and white. I may use all of these. I may use just a few. And then last but not least, probably most importantly, I went through my junk drawer and I just picked out a various assortment of random pieces of junk. Everything from buttons. I have some watch parts. I like to deconstruct clocks that I get. I have some old tubes, bottle caps, fuses, doll legs, spools, screws, old jewelry, clothespins. You get the idea. So just random things to glue around. Okay, so that's what we're going to need, and I'll be back and show you what we're going to do next. Okay guys, we're going to get started here. I took the glass out of the frame. I'm going to just paint directly on the back. You can use a canvas, anything you want. I kind of like the edge of the frame. It's easy to glue things on and around, but you know, whatever background you choose is up to you. You can also use gesso if you'd like. I chose not to this time around because we're going to be putting so many layers on that it's really not necessary. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with a coat of lamp black Americana acrylic paint, and I'm going to just go around the whole thing, probably give it, let's say, 2 coats, and when those are both dry, I'll get back here and show you where we're going to go from there. Okay, you guys, this is dry. I did 2 coats, and I glued the background to the frame in the back there. So the next step that we're going to do is add a little layer of texture. And I don't really have a plan here. I like to keep it very organic and just go with whatever moves me. So I have my hot glue gun ready, and I have some cardboard and some of the other stuff I showed you, so I'm just going to get to gluing. Let's see if I could do this. I want to add some cardboard down at the bottom. And I think I need to add some more glue in my glue gun. And like I said, I don't have a plan, as you could tell. I just like to do layers and see what comes up. And even the hot glue itself becomes texture, you know. So I'm just going to kind of go around. Try not to burn my fingers off. Which is hard sometimes. Not going to worry about any glue that I'm getting down. This is the bottom layer. We're going to paint over all of this. See, as a matter of fact, I'll just kind of frame it. You could do whatever you want, you guys. I try not to plan these out. And you kind of have to go through a bit of an ugly stage, if you will, where you think, oh Lord, what did I do? And just trust that it's going to be alright. So, I was going to... Next, I am going to lay down, I showed you some of that duct tape, or not duct tape, drywall tape. This has a stickiness to it, and you have to be careful if you're going to go in with any kind of a heat gun later, because this stuff will burn. And I'm going to kind of lay it down. And once all this dries, then I'm going to start gluing on our junk. We're going to glue on our junk. Okay, and also, what I showed you before, I wanted to use some of this caulking that I got in a box lot at the auction, and this should dry transparent, but I think that we'll be able to kind of put some stuff in it. And I also have some molding paste that I want to use with a little, I have a little golden running out. I'm just going to go in with my spatula and kind of put that down and scrape through it, literally at the bottom of the barrel. So we're not going to use too much, but I don't know, just for a little something different. I'll put it in a few spots. You know, just, you want to make areas that are visually interesting. I'm going to use my finger. You know, and so I couldn't tell you how to do this. You just have to do your own thing, you know. But I love doing these assemblage collages. They're very fun and freeing. Okay, so I have a little texture card. You could use anything. You could use a fork, a comb. You guys know the deal. I wonder if I can, I'm going to run through my caulk as well. Why not? Oh, that looks cool. Very cool. I'm kind of leaving the center of this, you know, not so built up, because we're going to be, I'm going to be putting that image from the card down and things like that. Okay, I'm also going to lay down some of this bandage, or you could use cheesecloth or anything like that. But I'm going to just kind of cut some of this in half here. And put it down. And then I'm going to let this dry overnight. And I'll come back in the morning and we're going to probably start gluing down our junk. And then after that, we'll paint it again. And maybe distress it. Or I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to find out. So, yeah, basically this is it. And I have managed to burn my fingers quite nicely while doing this, so I caution you guys, please be careful. You could even use, and I should have been using some kind of a tool, like a tweezer or something, instead of my fingers. But what are you gonna do? Be more careful next time. And a little more at the top. Okay. I need to get better at my editing skills, because I could have cut this out. But I did not. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to kind of bunch this up here. And I'm going to maybe put a little more caulk around it. Why not? And we're going to let this dry. And we'll see what we have in the morning when I come back here. And we're going to start gluing stuff on. I will just run through this again. This looks pretty cool. Okay, you guys. So this looks like a big fat mess right now. And I promise you, we will do our best to salvage it. Okay. So that actually looks pretty cool. I can envision where we're going. All right. So I'll see you in the morning when this is dry, and we'll get to gluing and further embellishing and seeing what we got, okay? See you in the morning. Okay, you guys, this is dried overnight, and as you can see, that caulking dried clear, but you can still see the molding paste through, and I think it looks pretty cool. So the next thing that we're going to do is I took some of my Americana Black, and I just mixed it here in a palette dish with a little bit of water and nice and runny, and I'm just going to go over this whole thing. And we're going to cover all of this up. So we're going to do that all over the whole thing, and then I'll be back as soon as it's dry, and then we're going to start gluing things on. So that's this. I'm going to just give it one coat. That's it. One coat, and I'll be back when it's dry. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, guys, this is all painted now. It's not dry yet, so I just wanted to show you before I set it aside. I'm going to let this dry, and in the meantime, I'm going to work on the embellishment that I'm going to put from the card. So I have this card here, and it's copyright Linda Sunshine in 2004 from the book All Things Alice by Linda Sunshine. And I will give all credit in the description box below. I'm not using this for sale. This is for my own personal use at home. Make sure that you have rights to whatever artwork you're going to be using. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to glue it down to, I have a just piece of cardstock, front and back. I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue, and then I'll smooth it out once it's down. I'm going to do the back too. Where it says how puzzling all these changes are. I'm never sure what I'm going to be from one minute to another. And that's from the original Alice's Adventures by Lewis Carroll. So I'm going to cut these words out too, and I think maybe I'll incorporate them around the edge of the frame. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm going to cut out Alice and the mushroom and the caterpillar, and maybe the daisies, I'm not sure, as well as the leaf. So we'll do that, and then when I'm done with that, I'll be back when the canvas is dry and all that's cut out, and then we are going to start gluing stuff down. See you in just a minute. Okay guys, this is dry now, and I went ahead and glued the card onto some other cardstock and cut it out, and I also took a piece of that graphic 45 paper and I just kind of ripped around the edges. I'm not, exactly sure if I'm going in the right direction here, but I thought that I would put this down here. We'll glue it down, and then I'm just going to go around again. I'm going to dig through this box and randomly place. I'm not going to show you as I glue it down, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the picture in this here, and then I'm just going to go around and take things out of my bowl here and glue it down with my hot glue gun. And when that's all done, I'll come back and show you, and then we're going to paint it again. So I'll see you back here in just a second. Okay guys, here we are, and it is quite busy. It's funny when I look back at the footage and I see all the time and care that I put into doing that textured background. I don't think there's one spot here that's empty that you could see the background, maybe kind of through these little spaces, but I have to laugh. So it's really your choice. If, my original intent was to let some of that wonderful texture peek through, but instead, true to form, I just kept piling more on. But this really is a lot of fun, you guys, and it took me hours to finish. I would say I spent a good 3 hours maybe just gluing. I went through a lot of hot glue, a lot of E6000. I resorted to my Aleene's at the end for just some embellishments, and I just really had a lot of fun and got through a lot of that junk drawer, I'll tell you. So my original intention, you guys, was to, the last 2 collages that I did very steampunky with, the golds and browns, and I wanted to kind of go in a different direction with this. But the more that I'm looking at it, the more that I'm just drawn back to the same way that I did the other ones. And I have to tell you, I'm not going to use the misters that I thought. And I brought out, if any of you have seen the last junk drawer collage that I did, I'll link it below. But I used this then, and I'm going to use it now. It's my DecoArt Elegant Finish Metallic Paint in Rich Espresso. And this stuff, I remember, went on like a dream and gave a really good coat. So I'm going to water down some gesso, and I am going to do a quick coat of gesso over everything with the exception of the card and the mirror. And then once the gesso dries, I will come back and do a coat of this Elegant Finish. So I'm just going to jump to the next time you see me, this is going to be dry. I don't think you need to watch the gesso dry. So gesso first, watered down, and then one coat of this. And when that's done, I'll see you back here. We're getting near the end. Okay, you guys, I went in and I actually did 2 coats of this metallic finish in rich espresso. I did a coat of gesso, watered down gesso first, and then I did 2 coats of the rich espresso, and I don't know how good you guys can see this, but it looks magnificent. I'm going to try to insert pictures along the way here. So the next step and the final step, when this is completely dry, I'm going to water down some of our black Americana acrylic paint, and I'm going to do the same thing. We're not going to touch Alice and the caterpillar, but I will do all around everything else. And then I'm just going to take a baby wipe and go over it before it dries and pull that black paint back up and leave enough to just really settle in the details. So I'm going to do that off camera. And when that is done, I'll see you back here. And then after that, the only thing left to do are place a few more embellishments, which really doesn't need much. But I did find this cool pair of specs in my stash. I had gotten these at the auction, and I thought I might glue those on. And, you know, you never know. So I'll see you back here after the black acrylic paint has been wiped off. And then we'll be pretty much done. Okay, you guys, this is really coming together nicely. I'm really falling in love with this. I went over the whole thing with some watered down black paint, and I actually took a rag, a damp rag, and just sponged it off, just like that, very gently, all the way around. And as you guys can see, it just brings out the richness of the detail, and just, you know, I wish I could really let each and every one of you see this in person. It's so cool. So we're almost done. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my rub and buff. And I'm just going to put some on my finger, and I'm going to just highlight little areas and just bring out random highlights. And I'll buff those up, make them nice and shiny. And then I'm going to cover this and give a little spritz with my Deco Art Mister in Carbon Black, just for some spatter. And like I said, I'll add a few more embellishments. Maybe. We'll see. This is certainly busy enough. I don't think it really needs a lot more, but I may just add, you know, who knows. So, rub and buff, a spritz of the Carbon Black, and maybe some more embellishment. Actually, I'm not so sure right now. So that's where we're at this minute. And the next time you see me, this will be done. So just a second. Okay, you guys, I'm happy to say that we're all done here. I did exactly as I said I was going to do. I took the rub and buff and literally just put it on my finger and touched up any area that I wanted to bring forward. And then I went and I covered this up, and I sprayed everything just quickly with a spritz of the carbon mist. And I decided not to add any more embellishments on it. It's got enough going on. I played around with the spectacles a little bit, and I thought, yeah, maybe it could work, but I think I'll save them for another project. And I am really, really happy with the way this came out. I hope this has inspired you to maybe take a look at some of the things you have laying around. And I used a lot of glue, and it took many hours, but this is going to be treasured for years to come. So I hope I've inspired you. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, I would love it if you do. And I hope you're having a beautiful day. So take care, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.